Hello. First of all, I just want to say I had to upload my video in a different format because my computer has decided to stop working, so I'm doing this by recording a video on my phone and then uploading it to YouTube and then uploading the link to the discussion. So I apologize for that. So the different types of social media platforms that I use Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And then for the second prompt, I do often think about how different content and different goods or services are geared more towards different platforms and they suit different platforms better. So for example, sports updates I think go along with Twitter very well because Twitter's format is designed to be short, to the point, and quick to upload, and it's text or media, and I think that allows itself to be very helpful towards sports updates, like if you're watching a game or if you can't catch a game but you want to see the updates. That really helps. That really helps the fact that Twitter enables those types of interactions to be possible, if that makes sense. Um, and then for Facebook, a lot of times what I see on Facebook is small businesses, and I tend to see, like, I know one of my old neighbors has a small business, her sister has a small business, my own dad has a small business. I see a ton of small businesses on Facebook, and I think that Facebook lends itself to small businesses because small businesses oftentimes get business through word of mouth, and Facebook, since you can have all these different friends, and also since it's a popular form of social media for millennials and up, like older people, then it's easier for those people who are able to have social media or able to have small businesses. It enables them to connect with other people who would be willing to buy from their small business. So it kind of helps them target the correct demographic, as well as just letting them get the word out through their different friends in the chains and making the pages that you can like, and you can share things about the different pages. So Facebook, I think, in summary, lends itself to small businesses. Twitter lends itself to sports updates and sports things of sorts. I would say Instagram has to do with all things lifestyle, and I think that is due to the fact that things on Instagram tend to be portraying this like picture perfect version of everyone's life. And so originally I was just gonna say that that clothing lended itself to Instagram, just because I see a lot of clothing and accessories on Instagram, either through shops, and those are types of small businesses, but specifically from people around my age just selling their own clothes or thrifted clothes, or accessories from small businesses as well, again from people that are my age and my demographic. But then also I have to look back to the roots of Instagram, where a lot of people would just be posting pictures of their food, and that's just because since Instagram is formatted more for pictures, it lends itself to having you show off your best forms of pictures. So it makes sense that all things luxe and luxury that you have in your life, like food or clothing, are shown more on Instagram. So that's what I think for Instagram. For YouTube, YouTube is an interesting one because YouTube for a very long time was a place of reviews, and I think the biggest industry that YouTube impacts probably is makeup, because beauty gurus have a very, very, very big influence. That's why they're called influencers. And people will trust these influencers because you get to know the personality and you get to know these people on YouTube, because the platform itself is just allowing people to share videos. So you can have whatever you want in the videos. So those people who choose to be influencers are choosing to lend you their personality and to lend you, like, it's almost like a faux friendship, if you will. And that leads to trust among the viewer and the creator. So then with makeup, I'm not exactly sure why makeup is the biggest industry. It might be because YouTubers have made it more accessible in the minds of like young girls and young guys to wear makeup and to wear more, not crazy makeup, but just more dramatic makeup to where you would need to buy more. So I believe that that may have something to do with the fact that it is the biggest industry for makeup. But in summary, getting back to the main point, I think YouTube is a big place for a variety of things, but the main thing is makeup because it has struck that industry so hard, and it still does strike it really hard, and it still does have a huge influence, whether it be from scandals of like shade ranges, whether it's a new drop that everybody's obsessed with that's gone viral, whether it's a brand that's gotten into a bunch of controversy. Like, people will make videos about brands I hate. People will make videos about my top 10 products I used this year. So there's a lot of different possibilities on YouTube, and I think YouTube is probably the most broad platform of the platforms that I'm talking about in this video. But it also lends itself to being that broad because it really does just facilitate a space for creators to share whatever content that they want that's within the guidelines with the viewer. So that's what I think about all of the platforms. Now, with how the platform lends itself to these things, and whether certain platforms are suited for certain content or certain goods or services, I definitely believe that they are, because I kind of enwrapped that with the platforms I talked about. So Twitter is made for short, quick responses, not necessarily responses, but like tweets and responses to tweets, updates, media. There's different things, but it's all relatively the fastest form of social media. So with sports, that goes very well, because if you want fast updates from sports, you're going to go to Twitter. YouTube lends itself, like I just said, it lends itself to being just a huge facilitator for the space of whatever creators want to create. Makeup has been super popular. Creators want to talk about makeup. Viewers want to watch things about makeup. So YouTube has been a huge space in that sense. Instagram is mainly a picture-centered app. So what do you want to capture in your life that you want to share with people on a platform? You want to share the highlights of your life. So outside of lifestyle, if we're looking at like goods and services, you're going to think clothing, you're going to think food. It lends itself to that. Facebook is a little different because I talked about small businesses as a whole rather than specific goods or services, but I do believe that it lends itself to that because of the connections that you can make on Facebook and the ease of like the user interface for making your own page. So I definitely think that all of these different platforms are suited for different types of content and serve different purposes, and that's why the trends do follow with specific apps and specific platforms.